Greetings ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to today's Reddit series video from the subreddit HFY called Billy Bob, Space Trucker, Fame and Fortuna. Written by Legal. The link to the original will be down below. And as always, I hope that you enjoy. Alright, is everyone aboard? Stevie Ray took a quick glance around the space bus as he checked the full seats and checklists in his hand. It seemed like all the seats were full with the designated occupants, but he honestly had no idea how to tell the Xenos all apart, especially since the bus was full of mostly Gawaldians and Kittians. Now, once we get underway, you'll need to remember to stay inside the bus at all times. It is set to a nice comfy gravity for you all, and if you step outside, the gravity of Earth will crush you to death under the weight of your own hair. So don't do it. There was a muttering from amongst the tourists. Then, as he began to hand out the papers to each of them, "This is a very totally standard contract that you must all sign before the tour begins. I wouldn't bother reading it if I were you, because you have to sign it to go, so you don't really have a choice." "Mr. Stevie Ray, sir," one of the fat hamsters in the front row raised a hand as he handed out more of the contracts. "I think this is a maiden error. It says here that in case of my death, all possessions default to the ownership of the tour guide." "Yes, totally normal. It is there in case you guys step off the bus and I can't find a way to scoop your stuff back in, then I'll be held responsible for missed luggage." He nodded. Here it says you can't be held responsible for our deaths on account of aggressive wildlife, including, but not limited to, dingoes, drop bears, toilet snakes, spiders, bears, sharks, shark bears, clowns, small rocks, big rocks, meth head zombies, bath salt raging Floridians, Ebola, roving Kunokaki teams, bogans, rednecks, big cats, small cats, gators, crocs, freedom eagles, non-freedom eagles, Indian food, and, the police? Surely you must have made a mistake. Why would the police kill any of us? The Gawaldan continued. "Welcome to America," Stevie Ray said, as he grinned at reassuring them. "Now these are purely standard forms as mentioned. We're not going to Australia on this trip, so there's far less risk of dingoes and drop bears and toilet snakes, shark bears, bus snakes, and bogans killing you all. Plus, I would never subject any of you to Indian food. You have my solemn promise. Especially because inflicting Indian food upon Xenos is outlawed under the Geneva Convention. And it gives me the firecraps something awful, anywho." The kitchen raised the contract and then gave it a brief shake. "This part mentions that you can't be held responsible for bad tour experiences such as earthquakes, forest fires, or hippies. I mean, that's just common sense. Nothing I could do about any of them, except hit the hippies with the bus, but they keep showing up. Damn it." Stevie Ray shook his head, even as many of the Xenos gave him worried looks. "What's this about cultural norms involving clapping and tipping?" Another asked. This is America, so feel free to clap at anything you find enjoyable. Everyone does it. The tipping is part of the American economy. Tip everyone for doing their jobs, especially your tour guides. This going rate is anywhere from 10 to 20%. He nodded and jingled around a tip jar before settling into the bus's dash. "Mr. Stevie Ray, some of these clauses seem to absolve you of any responsibility for, anything. I don't think this sort of contract is legal according to galactic law," another Gawaldian pointed out, "which isn't a concern here because, as mentioned, this is America. Galactic law doesn't apply. Now, any final questions before we get started on the tour of the Fame and Fortuna?" He asked, and he saw the hamster raise a hand. "Yes? Fame and for fish?" he asked. "No? I'll explain as we go." He nudged the driver, and then the bus detached from the space station to drop to the planet below. "Welcome, one and all, to the sunny California. Asterisk. The sky may or may not be sunny. This tour guide is not held responsible for the weather," he quickly added, especially as they dropped through the early morning marine layer of fog that had settled over the land. "We start in the local landmark of Cockrobin Island. What's a cockrobin, you ask? Well, if you look closely, you might see one fly past." He leaned over and peered through the window, as many of the tourists looked outside as well. And then he pressed a button to the side and something shot past the window. "Look, there's one." "Neat." Many of the Xenos gasped and took pictures, though the keen-eyed Libertonian frowned. "That's a dildo with wings glued onto it." "Nonsense! That was a local cock robin, and you can't prove otherwise, because off we go." He pointed forward as the bus began to roll down towards the street. "We'll be travelling up the road to get to Fortuna itself, so bear with me a moment. That sign said Cannibal Island Road. Are they cannibals?" A Gewaldian gasped out as the others began to murmur and worry. Now, fear not, we've gotten rid of most of them," he assured them, before something hit the window and the Xenos began to scream in panic. "It's cannibals! We're doomed!" The Gewaldian in question panic ate his sack lunch. The sacker came in, and his tour guide's pamphlet, and even his hat before Stevie Ray could wave them off. "No, it's not cannibals, it's just the local kids." He looked out to see a number of kids pelting the bus with rocks. "You didn't pay your protection fee, Frecker," one called out. "Never fear, everyone. This is all handled easily enough with my Freck-off gun," he said as he reached up to pull a shotgun off of its mounting above the bus driver's seat. He rolled down the window and leaned it out with it. "Freck off," he shouted before firing at one of the kids that was knocked back as hard as the others scattered. He hit two more before the rest scattered into the trees, and he leaned back inside and waved a hand. "Fear not, I'm using rock salt. It's mostly harmless. In fact, it's an American custom to be shot with rock salt 4 or 5 times as a youth at least. Totally normal." The Xenos muttered in anxiety. Still, for a while the bus settled down as he put the gun back and pulled out the main road to lead them into the town. Now, as I was trying to explain before I was so rudely interrupted, no one actually knows what the word Fortuna means. It's from a long-dead language that no one understands. "Que?" The driver looked over. "Damn it, Paco, no one understands your Beano talk. You save it until we order lunch for your family restaurant. Yes, if you want lunch besides the prepared sack of lunches, we are making a stop at an authentic local restaurant featuring traditional American fare such as burritos, tacos, enchiladas, and lots of tortillas." He carefully pronounced, Dios mío. Paco muttered with a shake of his head. There was gunfire that kicked up the distance just as they approached the town, and many of the Xenos began to shriek in panic once more. "We're being attacked!" No, Stevie Ray waved them down. "The traditional celebratory American gunfire. If you stay around here long enough, you'll learn the difference." They then heard a loud bang and a crunch. See, that was the sound of door-opening gunfire. Someone probably locked themselves out by mistake. Happens all the time. He laughed softly, and the Xenos sat back down, as they didn't apparently get shot. "Now here we are in Fortuna as promised." Stevie Ray waved out to the sides of the bus as they began to drive through the town. The tourists quickly began to snap pictures. "Behold the splendor of our fair city, with such sights as the movie theater and the post office. Neat. Over there is the Antique Train Museum, and that right there is a prime example of one of the most dangerous wildlife that we can come across today. The North American method." He pointed out in the street. "Neat. And now for the fame portion of the tour." He moved on as the bus kept rolling along the road. "That was all of the Fortuna part." One of the Libertonians at the back gasped out. "Not all of it. I've still got to show off the fire department and the local dog park. Trust me, you'll love them." He grinned as they pulled off the main road into a trucker-trailer park. "You'll see here the many of the now famous Longhorn cargo haulers, and in particular one extra famous one. In fact, here's my brother now, coming out to get the mail. Notice his cultural apparel." Stevie Ray pointed out as the bus stopped right in front of one infamous Billy Bob space trucker, who was wearing a bathrobe, hot boxers, and bunny slippers as he idly scratched himself while walking towards his mailbox. "Neat. What the frick?" Billy Bob gasped out in surprise as the bus suddenly stopped before him and flashes of cameras went wild. "What? No, I can't be seen like this," he gasped out, and he turned away for a moment and then tried to shield his face. "Stevie Ray, you stop this right now," Billy Bob growled as he approached the front of the bus. Stevie Ray quickly brandished his frack-off gun once more. "Damn you and your frack-off gun." Billy Bob shook his fist at his brother before the suit of Libertonian power armor got out the back of the Longhorn and approached. "Aha!" Emily will sort you right out. Badass girlfriend attack, he pointed. What? Why, you look adorable, the Space Eagle Raptor announced over the power suit and picked Billy Bob up to hug him. I just want to squeeze you when you're so cute. Smoochy, smoochy, smooch. With she even pantomimed kissing him with the face of the suit armor. No. My street cred, I'm supposed to be a badass. Billy Bob whined as the Xenos in the bus kept snapping pictures while he squirmed. Damn you, Stevie Ray. He shook his fist at his brother once more. And off we go, he announced as the bus began to roll forward through the rest of the trucker trailer park. Ah, crap. Folks, this is one of the most deadly wildlife in the region, so stay calm and try not to make any sudden movements, and hopefully we'll get through here without drawing her attention. Stevie Ray, did you think that I wouldn't notice you didn't pay my protection fee? I'm your mother, damn it, and you can't escape me. A large, one-eyed woman with a cybernetic arm and a generally unhappy-looking disposition in a major's uniform began to chase after the bus. I ain't giving you crap, Mama. I'm not afraid to use my freck-off gun. He called out and grabbed the gun down from the rack once more, only to have her pull out a much larger gun in turn. Yeah, well, I've got my own freckest-offest gun, boy, she hollered. Neat. Oh, crap. Pucker! Stump on it. Stevie Ray hollered as the bus driver hit the gas to get the bus running faster around the road. Mary Sue chased after them a little longer, but couldn't keep up with the bus at speed. Phew, that was a close one, folks. Man, Turkey Day is gonna be awkward now. Anyway, good being a driving, Paco. He gave the driver a shoulder pat. Pendejo, Paco muttered. Anyway, from here we'll be down to the Mary Jane's Medical Dispensary and Crab Coral, where we can ride one of her quasi-tamed arse crabs, or buy drugs. Then we'll see the local legend Theodore Rex and his infamous Gator Bear wrestling show. Then we'll stop by the fire department and dog parks as mentioned, and end it all with Jackie Jill's famous flying hog air show. Now with more brrrt. He grinned as they moved on. Neat. Excuse me, but this whole tour just visits your family in this little town, one of the Libertonians said at the back. I thought that we'd get to see celebrities and famous landmarks. That would be the Fame and Fortune tour, he explained with a shrug. I want a refund, the Space Eagle Raptor grumbled. Stevie Ray quickly added, also, no refunds. Welcome to America, land of the free and home of the brave. Terms and conditions may apply. Oh, hippies! Paco! Stevie Ray pointed ahead at the road, and the hippie in question, who had just been crossing the road, cried out in surprise and tried to dive to the side. But Paco jumped the curb, and there was a solid thwack, followed by a cry. 20 points! Stevie Ray called out, and the Gowaldians and Kitchens began to clap. Neat. You're getting the hang of it, Stevie Ray encouraged. Now, we get ready to visit Mary Jane's and experience the traditional American experience called the Munchies. Many of the Xenos, and in fact all of the Gowaldians, eagerly raised their hands at that. Excellent. Paco, onwards. And the bus raced off to give the Xenos the best fame and fortuna that they could want, even if they didn't want it at all. I hope that you enjoyed. If you'd like to support the channel or the author, all the stuff is down below. And as always, I hope that you guys have a good one, and I'll see you in the next story. Cheers.